back to me.
I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I'ma get a scholarship to King's College. I probably shouldn't brag, but dag, I'm amazed and astonished. The problem is I got a lot of brains but no polish. I gotta holler just to be heard. With every word I drop knowledge. I'm a diamond in the rough, a shining piece of coal, trying to reach my goal. My power of speech unimpeachable. Only 19, but my mind is older. These New York City streets get colder. I shoulder every burden, every disadvantage I've learned to manage. I don't have a gun to brandish. I walk these streets famished. The plan is to fan this spark into a flame. But damn, it's getting dark, so let me spell out the name. I am the A-L-E-X-A-N-D-E-R. We are meant to be a colony that runs independently. Meanwhile, Britain keeps shitting on us endlessly. Essentially, they tax us relentlessly. Then King George turns around, runs a spending spree. He ain't never gonna set his descendants free. So there will be a revolution in this century. Enter me,
he says in parentheses.
Don't be shocked when your history book mentions me. I will lay down my life if it sets us free. Eventually, you'll see my ascendancy. And I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey, yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. I am not throwing away my shot. Hey, yo, I'm just like my country. I'm young, scrappy, and hungry, and I'm not throwing away my shot. It's time to take a shot.
I dream of life without a monarchy. The unrest in France will lead to anarchy. Anarchy, how you say? Anarchy. When I fight, I make the other side panicky with my
shot.
Yo, I'm a tailor's apprentice, and I got y'all knuckleheads and local parentis. I'm joining a rebellion, cause I know it's my chance to socially advance.
There's nothing rich folks love more than going downtown and slumming it with the poor. They pull up in their carriages and gawk at the students in the common just to watch them talk. Take Philip Schuyler, the man is loaded. Uh-oh, but little does he know that his daughters, Peggy, Angelica, Eliza, sneak into the city just to watch all the guys.
Angelica, Eliza, and Peggy, the Schuyler sisters. Angelica, Peggy, Eliza, Daddy said to be home by sundown. Daddy doesn't need to know. Daddy said not to go downtown. Like I said, you're free to go. But look around, the revolution's happening in New York. Angelica, work. It's bad enough Daddy wants to go to war. People shouting in the square. It's bad enough there'll be violence on our shore. New ideas in the air. Look around, Angelica, remind me what we're looking for.
She's looking for me.
Eliza, I'm looking for a mind at work. I'm looking for a mind at work. I'm looking for a mind at work. Whoa, 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 work.
Ooh, there's nothing like summer in the city. Someone in a rush next to someone looking pretty. Excuse me, miss, I know it's not funny, but your perfume smells like your daddy's got money. While you slumming in the city in your fancy heels, you searching for an urchin who can give you ideals.
Sir, you disgust me.
Ah, so you disgust me. I'm a trust fund, baby, you can trust me.
I've been reading Common Sense by Thomas Paine. So men say that I'm intense or I'm insane. You want a revolution, I want a revelation. So listen to my declaration. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. And when I meet Thomas Jefferson, I'ma compel him to include women in the sequel. Work! Look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now. Look around at how lucky we are to be alive right now. History is happening in Manhattan, and we just happen to be in the greatest city in the world. In the greatest city in the world. 'Cause I'm the crown, so let's say that I'm a
birthplace of radio's greatest era. Live from New York, it's Radio Night Live with Kevin McCullough.
Wait, who?
Kevin McCullough, let me start with you.
Huh?
The big dog, Kevin McCullough.
And Kevin McCullough.
No, who?
Nationally syndicated radio host and author of No He Can't.
Who? Kevin McCullough?
Kevin McCullough is a nationally syndicated radio host and author of No He Can't.
What?
Barack Obama's Dismantling Hope and Change and CEO of Extreme Media.
Oh.
All right, Kevin McCullough, really glad to have you with us. Thank you for being here. Thank you for always stopping by on a Saturday night where we like to have a lot of fun. We've got a huge show for you tonight, and it's not going to be wanting in the department of great information for your weekend either. We've got some breaking news, and we have got a guest list to be coveted by any broadcast tonight. Joe Borelli, the minority leader for the New York City Council, will be with us. We will be talking with Dr. Douglas Howard of Balance of Nature. We've got Carol Markowitz of the New York Post. We've got Kristen B. Tate of The Hill. And we've got Jane Ann Benaira, a fitness consultant and expert. All three of those ladies, by the way, in the Ladies Lounge tonight. And in the music spotlight tonight with new music, we've got Toby Mac and Sheryl Crow. And then we've got Toby Mac coming back in hour number 2 with another great piece. So we got a lot to get to. I hope you stick around. It's going to be a fantastic couple of hours. And I want to say once again, welcome to those of you watching, of course, on Biz TV and on our streams coast to coast on Twitter and YouTube and those places. But also want to welcome the Salem News Channel audience, as this is our second week to be with you. And we are thrilled to be able to be joining the lineup there with the great guys, Hugh Hewitt, Mike Gallagher, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Dennis Prager, Larry Elder, Eric Metaxas, and the like. Thank you so much for having us there as well. We've got a lot to get to. Today in Texas, there is some movement on the hostage situation. If you were not aware of it, a gunman had taken 3 hostages a little bit earlier today in what is still a fairly confusing circumstance. At least as we were going live on the air, I was not clearly understanding what the circumstance was as to why he was had taken the hostages. He has released one. We know that much by now, but it is concerning, and it is something that we'll keep our eye on over the next couple of hours. If anything big happens there, we will, of course, bring it to you. Big day in the state of Virginia this weekend because this afternoon, Saturday afternoon, Glenn Youngkin was sworn in as the new governor of the Commonwealth. And in doing so, of course, a whole spate of other elected officials are sworn in as well. And there's already a bunch of stuff happening. For instance, in Virginia, you had Governor Youngkin come in and immediately invalidate the mask mandate, the vaccine mandate, and eliminated CRT from all Virginia public schools via executive order. That's how they were starting to slip in. He just said, well, we can fix that. And with his pen, he went in and nixed them right away. And he's not the only one, I might add. The Attorney General for the state, or the Commonwealth of Virginia, has already announced that given the circumstances, and you may remember this vaguely, depending on where you are in the country, in the Virginia race this last year, there was a lot of controversy in a place called Loudoun County. And in Loudoun County, this is where they were pushing the envelope of sex identity. And there were kids that were wanting to identify as the opposite gender and from what their sex was, and so they were having all these protests, and it was a lot of tension about it. And the school had just kind of gone along with whatever the sexual rights activists had asked them for. So they were giving in on every level. And it turned out that a boy that was claiming to identify as a girl, had assaulted a girl in the locker room there, and that he should have never been anywhere near girls, particularly girls that were in states of being unclothed, etc. Well, this is not sat well with the brand newly elected Attorney General for the state of Virginia, and tonight he is already pledging a full-scale, and he's already announced a full-scale investigation after having been sworn in today into the mysterious allowance in Loudoun County for that to occur, for the child to be raped or assaulted there, and for really nothing to be done about it. That child, the boy that did it, just kept getting kind of given cover, and so the new attorney general, looking into that, immediately going to work for the people. And I want to use that as a starting point tonight to mention this. We are now going on 1 full year since the inauguration of the federal administration, the Biden administration, the mashed potato administration, the just don't let me miss ice cream in the afternoon administration. We are going on a full year of failed policies that really began on day one. And when you consider that in the last week, the Biden administration lost on its effort to unconstitutionally change the filibuster in the Senate. They lost the ability to manipulate and to basically corrupt elections coast to coast with the federal, the H.R. 1, the attempt to change the voting regulations across the country to make them all basically the way that the way those 6 states had worked to some degree in 2020. That's what H.R. 1 was introducing, to require all elections nationwide be made into forever. They've lost that ability. In losing the ability to change the filibuster, they lost the ability to manipulate the voting rights legislation that they were putting forward, and that's really poorly named voting rights legislation. Like that's the real thing. Anyway, so it was a bad week on those two things, and then they got hammered. The Biden administration absolutely got face planted with the Supreme Court of the United States saying, no, you're not Mussolini. You cannot co-opt the private sector and private businesses and basically make every employer in the country a little KGB or Nazi or Mussolini-like agency for the federal government. You can't do that. We're not going to allow you to tell every employer in the country that they have to tell their employees, you will be vaxxed. Because that's what the vaccine mandate through OSHA was in essence trying to accomplish. They said that the administration did not have the authorization to do that. There was no way in by the people themselves or even the people's representatives. This was literally President Mashed Potatoes taking a napkin, scribbling something on the back of it over his lunch one day, handing it to his assistant and saying, Joe, run that down to somewhere at the OSHA agency and make sure that they do this. And then OSHA was stuck having to implement it, which, if you'll remember, when the Fifth Circuit originally ruled against the mandate, OSHA said, okay, we're not going to enforce it anymore. And then the administration came out and said, oh, no, you're going to enforce it, and you're going to enforce it until the courts tell you not to enforce it. And then they got a split decision with the 6, and it ended up at the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has now ruled on the injunction that was imposed by the Fifth Circuit, and they've said that injunction stands. There is no vaccine mandate, and the 80 million workers that are under the auspices of private employers in the country can tell their employers to go pound sand if the employer says the president's making me do this. No. If your boss says that the president's making you do this, you say, no. The court said he can't. This is just your choice to have me do this. And then that really is your issue. I also want to straighten out one other thing. A lot of confusion over the healthcare workers, kind of countervailing opinion here. The healthcare worker vaccine mandate that was allowed to stand, probably not the best way to bring that about. But at the end of the day, the federal healthcare workers are in essence an extension of the federal arm of the government, and by extension, the executive branch has the right to control how federal employees are governed and behave. So there's a certain degree of those 38,000 healthcare workers that are in federal healthcare systems. We're talking about the VA. We're talking about government hospitals, those types of things. They have to be vaccinated according to this ruling. But 80 million Americans that would have been impacted by the private sector vaccine mandate are free tonight, not to be forced to get the vaccine. And friends, please hear me. I'm not anti-vaccine. I think that the vaccines served a purpose. I think they helped people. I think they gave people lesser symptoms than they would have gotten. And I think certainly that for some people it legitimately saved lives and offered protection that they desperately needed it. I don't think that the pandemic was ever going to be ended with a vaccine. I think that was always going to be therapeutics, and therapeutics are what we've heard precious little about from Mr. Fauci and the others. Now maybe we will, because we need to. And by the way, some other good news tonight. It turns out that the cities that had the worst surge of Omicron are starting, just after a couple of weeks, to see some subsiding of that intensity. And in fact, the New York Times pointing it out, Cleveland, Newark, Washington, some of the cities that reported massive outbreaks of Omicron are starting to see those numbers slow. And this is exactly what happened in South Africa. And it's really why South Africa doesn't have a COVID problem anymore. It brought about, in essence, herd immunity. And that's what we're hoping it does here in the United States as well. All right, we got a big show. What do you think about non-citizens getting to vote? Well, that's exactly what the mayor of New York allowed to take place as law this last week. Joe Borelli, New York minority leader, will join us in this next segment. Stay with us.
Theaters January 21st, Redeeming Love.
Hop on one of those ships and sail away.
Why don't you think about where we would go?
Far.
I was just thinking about my mother. Shattered.
You are not here.
What's your pleasure, mister?
The truth is, I didn't come here for that.
You have been broken, your innocence.
Redeeming Love, based on the best-selling novel by Francine Rivers.
That's Angel, finest girl west of the Rockies.
A life-changing story of the power of relentless love and perseverance. Redeeming Love shows there is no brokenness love can't heal.
That way is home. Your choice.
Redeeming Love. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters January 21st. Go to redeeminglovemovie.com.
Hi, Kevin McCullough. You've heard us talk about the amazing offer that MyPillow is offering you right now, right? Only $34.99 a pillow. That's the lowest price ever offered on radio TV. When you get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for only $69.98, ever since I've been sleeping on my MyPillow, I don't get interrupted sleep anymore. I don't have to worry about folding my pillow in half or stacking up a whole bunch of lifeless pillows underneath it to give me the right support. Comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty, and it's made in the USA. Do you have a pillow that comes with a 10-year warranty? Get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for $69.98 right now. That's only $34.99 per pillow, which again is the lowest price ever offered on radio or TV. This offer is only available at MyPillow.com or when you call 800-506-2641. That's 800-506-2641. Promo code KMC. 800-506-2641. And use the promo code KMC.
Brand new from beloved author Ivan Quinones comes a new children's book, Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab, available now in paperback or Kindle from the Amazon Marketplace. One satisfied parent said, "The story is quite intriguing. The way it develops leaves you waiting for the next adventure. Magnificent Ian is such a fun book. I would highly recommend it for children grades 2 through 5. Another said, "I barely got the book out of the package and my son immediately grabbed it and ran off to read it." In Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab, Ian finds a secret lab in the middle of an active volcanic island, run by a crazy scientist who tasks him with widening a secret tunnel. There's suspense, action, adventure, and a lesson about integrity. Available now on the Amazon Marketplace and the Amazon Kindle store. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab from author Ivan Quinones in paperback and Kindle form. Get your copy today. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I ended up getting a cold after Thanksgiving, and usually it always goes to my chest. Not even usually, it just always goes to my chest, and I end up having to go to the doctor. This time I took 9 of the Balance of Nature for 2 days, and it totally cleared up. I was very impressed because every time I've gotten a cold for the past 5 years, it goes into my chest. And it didn't. It cleared up right away.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code KMC.
And now, from New York, back to Radio Night Live. Here's Kevin McCullough.
The idea that an elected official, no matter how new to the office, can come in and say, we're just gonna randomly allow millions of people that aren't legally eligible to vote in our city to suddenly be allowed to start it's unconstitutional. It's unconstitutional on the federal level. It's unconstitutional on the state level. Here to discuss that very activity, because it did happen this weekend, is none other than Joe Borelli. He's the minority leader of the New York City Council, a minority group that grew its numbers in 2021. So, Joe, I guess you should be congratulated that you've got a couple of more colleagues to work with than you did before. But
it's good.
But it's not quite as many as you'd like, I know, long term. Talk to me about what Eric Adams did, and for people that weren't paying attention or very closely, why do you have a problem with it?
Well, in truth, Eric Adams did nothing. He either had to veto the bill by a certain deadline or not. So he chose to simply just allow the bill to come into effect. Unfortunately, this means that the city of New York is operating outside the state's election law and outside the state's municipal home rule law, which is state statutes. We must follow those. And yet here we're choosing not to.
All right. So you've got a couple of issues here that I see that are problematic, at least for me. I like what Mr. Adams has talked about since coming to office. I liked his move with putting people like your former colleague, Eric Ulrich, on his advisory team. Your former borough president, Mr. Otto, is also going to be advising him. I like the fact that he's going a little bit ecumenical with some of the choices in terms of getting other voices to speak into his administration. I like the fact that he's been pro-law enforcement thus far, and he seems to be saying to BLM and even to DA Bragg, we'll get into this a little bit later, that he doesn't really care for the nonsense that those groups have pulled or are attempting to pull. But on this issue of protecting the integrity of the voters of the city of New York, was there any reason why he should not have vetoed it, that he should not have said, no, this is against the principles of what our city is built on, what our state is built on, and I'm not going to be party to it?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what he could have done. And even politically speaking, he could have even said he supports the bill. There's nothing wrong with him having political opinions. And by the way, if the advocates of this proposal went through the state legislature and perhaps even sought a state constitutional change, you might not agree with the policy, but what they were doing would be legal and grounded in a solid legal footing. That's not what they're doing here. And I actually agree with you. Look, if the city is safer because Mayor Eric Adams cares about public safety and supports our police and lets them do their jobs, and we're fighting about something else downstream, that's still a much better place than where we were with Mayor de Blasio, with an unsafe city, and still fighting about the same stuff. So, look, the mayor could have pumped the brakes on this, took a pause, said this is not legal, just like, in fairness, the de Blasio administration and the Bloomberg administration had said for many years, and he would have got a clean political out from his far-left supporters.
Well, and you have to wonder what the ultimate end game here is, because the defense of it is to say, and Joe, you know this, well, we're not going to allow them to vote in non-municipal elections. So they're not going to be allowed to choose governor or president or congressional members from the state of New York. But I have big questions about how thoroughly the integrity of some of our elections are conducted currently, with supposedly, tighter rules around them. I have very big concerns about how they would execute this with any type of integrity.
Well, our Board of Elections is actually asking for higher up opinions on how they're even supposed to do this. I mean, essentially, they're being asked to create two categories of voters: those who are eligible to vote in all elections, we call them citizens, and those eligible to vote in only municipal elections. So, there are actually impediments on a sort of a tactical level or a bureaucratic level that are problematic for us and are only going to make the idea of having safe, secure, and fair ballot access even more difficult in New York City.
Yeah.
So this is a problem. This is not a problem that's going to go away, and we're not going to really see the impact of this until we have city council elections in 2023 when the whole council is up.
Joe, let me ask you about this because you are a New Yorker and you speak from a New York-centric perspective. But as you know, we've got people that listen from all over the country. Do you sense that the move to get non-citizens voting is something that the left would like to see enacted in most, if not all, urban centers across the country?
Yeah, they're certainly hedging, and they believe that most foreign citizens would tend to vote perhaps in the Democratic way. But it goes deeper than that. I mean, there are racial and ethnic politics at play in almost every large city in America where different ethnicities and races compete for power in their city hall. And this is no different. This empowers a Latino vote, a Dominican-specific vote, at the expense of, say, African Americans. Excuse me. That's why there were more African American and broadly Democratic votes against this, if you can believe that, in the city council than there were Republicans. There were 4 Republican no's. There were, I think, 9 Democratic people voting no.
Yeah, but when you're talking about the size of the city council, 13 total no votes doesn't add up to a heck of a whole lot.
Unfortunately.
So what's the recourse? How do you get this undone?
Well, our lawsuit was filed today in Richmond County, which is Staten Island. Our state GOP party, a number of elected officials, a number of political leaders, a number of immigrants filed this lawsuit. We're hoping that just the plain English reading of the state's election law, I mean, the state's election law, section 5-102, basically just says no person can register to vote unless they're a citizen of the United States. I mean, this is not smoke and mirrors, 3L at law school, learning your constitutional law stuff. This is, can you read the statute? If you can, you see it's clear. So we're hoping to have successful outings in court in Richmond County, and we fully expect to go up to the State Court of Appeals, which is the highest court in New York State.
Yeah. I would anticipate that is, in fact, going to be what's happened, because I think whoever loses the first round is going to appeal automatically. Let me ask you this. What do you think the odds are of success? I know a lot of people are listening going, I hope this is not going to stick. What type of hope do you put into it?
I think we have a good chance of being successful. Number one, our Board of Elections is a bipartisan commission of 10 people, equal Republicans and Democrats. I don't believe our Republican commissioners are going to certify that this work is okay because they're cognizant of state law. On the legal side, we have a pretty solid foundation in case law. We have a pretty solid foundation in statute, so much so that Bill de Blasio, for 7 years and 10 months of his tenure as mayor, was opposed to this solely on the legal foundation it rests on, and Mayor Bloomberg as well. And the fact that we've had legislation in Albany in the state legislature pending to change this the entire time. So I think we have a good leg to stand on.
Well, I always appreciate, Councilman, your willingness to talk to us here and to take time out. Let me just ask you, Happy New Year to you, by the way. What's your personal biggest hope, goal, or dream for this coming year?
If we can go back, as you kind of alluded to before, where the mayor and I, our Democratic mayor, go back to fighting over tax rates and styrofoam cup bans, at least we know the city's in a much better place than it was under Mayor de Blasio.
No argument there, Council. We appreciate it. All right, Joe Borelli, follow him on Twitter. It's Joe Borelli NYC, right?
Yes, sir.
And you really should follow him, not only for his smarmy takes on things that are happening in City Hall, but also for his backyard barbecue recipes from time to time.
Yes, sir.
Put him up there as well. Joe, Happy New Year. We'll talk to you soon.
You too.
Kevin McCullough coming right back. Don't go away. These troubling times, civil unrest, spiking crime rates, and restrictive gun laws put us all at risk. One feels unsafe just walking down the sidewalk. So what if there was a form of personal protection that did not require waiting periods, permits, or background checks? Small enough to carry concealed in a purse or a jacket, but powerful enough to stop an assailant. Introducing the Byrna HD, the non-lethal self-protection device that buys you valuable time in an unsafe situation. With a 5-round magazine, the Byrna HD fires the Byrna Max payload, a 68 caliber projectile loaded with pepper and tear gas irritant, disabling an assailant from being able to breathe freely or see clearly for up to several minutes. The CO2-powered launcher is accurate up to 60 feet. It's about the size of a 9mm and has a dual-handed safety valve. Ideal for men and women and safe for everyone, it's backed by a 60-day risk-free guarantee.
Go to Byrna.com/KMC for all the latest discounts and specials. That's BYRNA.com/KMC.
Hi, Kevin McCullough. You've heard us talk about the amazing offer that MyPillow is offering you right now, right? Only $34.99 a pillow. That's the lowest price ever offered on radio TV. When you get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for only $69.98, ever since I've been sleeping on my MyPillow, I don't get interrupted sleep anymore. I don't have to worry about folding my pillow in half or stacking up a whole bunch of lifeless pillows underneath it to give me the right support. Comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty, and it's made in the USA. Do you have a pillow that comes with a 10-year warranty? Get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for $69.98 right now. That's only $34.99 per pillow, which again is the lowest price ever offered on radio or TV. This offer is only available at MyPillow.com or when you call 800-506-2641. That's 800-506-2641. Promo code KMC. 800-506-2641. And use the promo code KMC. Hi, Kevin McCullough. You wouldn't dare build a house or a building of any kind without a blueprint, and you shouldn't invest your money without a plan either. My friends at Landmark Capital specialize in tailor-made portfolios for each customer called Your Financial Blueprint. Landmark Capital can show you how to diversify your portfolio and put some of it into physical precious metals, gold and silver, that help protect your portfolio in the ups and downs. And it also gives you the right to hold them in your IRA, in your possession, or your 401k. Taking physical possession today, it's 100% legal, and it's 100% doable right now. You probably have never seen this idea before, but you need to check it out. Get a free financial analysis called Your Financial Blueprint, and find out how to put precious metals in your hands tax deductible. Their process is easy. Call the Landmark team at 844-604-2575. That's 844-604-2575.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I'm very, very athletic. I play ice hockey 2 or 3 days a week. I'm in good shape for my age. I keep up with the young kids, but, I get tired. Muscles get sore. I'm achy. So I noticed just by taking this product for a month, I'm not as tired as I used to be or fatigued. Muscles feel good. I feel like my stamina is better than it was. I just feel better than I did, and I wasn't really complaining before.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com, and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code KMC.
And now, back to Radio Night Live. Here's Kevin McCullough.
All right, Kevin McCullough, so glad to have you with us. And as we continue to roll through the new year of 2022, you know that one of the emphases of all of my shows is how to help you do life a little bit better in whatever areas, whether it's financially, with money, whether it's with the extra kind of help that we get on Parenting Wednesdays, where we talk about things that can help you become a better parent. But one of the big areas that I feel like that we have to address here at the beginning of 2022 is health and wellness. And joining me today is someone who spent a lot of 2020 with me, and we were more hit and miss in 2021, but I'm hopeful that he'll be back in 2022 on a much more regular basis. But he was one of the first voices, and I think one of the most important voices we talked about during the actual COVID pandemic, when the virus was spreading across the United States and what was happening there. And oddly enough, in just the last couple of weeks, you've seen voices from the CDC, you've seen voices from the National Institutes of Health, you've seen Dr. Fauci himself all say some of the things that my next guest was going to say, and did say. In fact, just this last week, the CDC director, Walensky, I think is her last name, said that 75% of all the COVID deaths in America to date, that's 3 out of 4. Just think about that. 75% had at least 4 comorbidities in existence with the COVID virus when they died. 4 comorbidities. That could be age, weight, general health of the heart, cancer, diabetes, other things that are already draining the body. So I don't know if Dr. Douglas Howard was aware of that, but I wanted to make sure he knew that stat, because we talked originally, Dr. Howard, about how your overall health was going to impact big time how you dealt with COVID in general. Anyway, Happy New Year and welcome back.
Hey, thank you. It's great to be with you. It's been too long. With that, I will say, it's interesting, something we've been saying all along is, and it's driving me crazy, is just give me scientific numbers. And I'm glad we're coming back around to true scientific numbers. But these numbers have been manipulated backwards and forwards and upside down. And now they need to be able to show somehow we're coming out of this. So they're just using the numbers again to their advantage. And I could actually give you a study that shows the water causes cancer if I went deep enough, because everybody who gets cancer drink water.
I never thought of that.
So we can make numbers do about anything we want, and this is coming down more towards reality, and it's something we've been teaching. I think you probably remember a long time ago when, almost probably a year ago, there was a couple, an elderly couple, driving a car, and they got in an accident.
Correct.
And they were both killed, and they said COVID was their cause of death. And this has been driving me nuts for a long time. So,
well, and to that regard, Dr. Howard, you would be glad to hear that the New York governor, the newly elected or newly appointed New York governor, Governor Hochul, followed Massachusetts' lead. They're the only 2 states that have done it so far. But they have instructed their hospitals to change their numbers from those admitted with COVID and present in their system, because they're testing every single person coming into the hospital. So you're catching every asymptomatic case that walks through your door, even if you're there for something else. So they're separating those coming in with COVID versus those that are there because of COVID. And when you have people like Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor say last week that there are 100,000 kids hospitalized because of COVID, and many of them on ventilators, there's almost no one on ventilators anymore. We don't use ventilators for oxygen in the COVID reality, because we learned that didn't help. It made things worse. And about 8 out of 10 people died. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we are starting to get at least, and when Governor Hochul did that, by the way, it dropped nearly 50%, 48%. Fewer cases are now going to be reported out of the hospitals, because that's the actual number of people that are needing hospitalization help. And again, the vast majority of those with other comorbidities that are complicating it. But Doc, I want to talk about in light of that, and even when they're starting to use good news, the facts, you still got people that are wrapped in fear, I think largely because our politicians and kind of elite leadership class, Fauci and people, have kept people so confused and afraid for most of the last year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, okay, let's go back to a year and a half ago when you and I talked, and you said, what do you think of this? And I said, coronavirus is the common cold, and yes, we have a variant that was man-made and da-da-da-da-da, and that's all pretty well proven, and as we go through. But even then, remember what Dr. Fauci said at the very beginning. I hate to even quote him, but I'm going to, was, there's nothing you can do about this. It's a virus, except improve your own immune system.
Dr. Douglas Howard of Balance of Nature, where you can try his fruits and veggies tonight for 35% off and free shipping. Just call 800-246-8751.
Coming to theaters January 21st, Redeeming Love.
Topple one of those ships and sail away.
Why don't you think about where we would go?
Far.
I was just thinking about my mother. Shattered.
You are not here.
What's your pleasure, mister?
The truth is, I didn't come here for the bad.
You have been broken, your innocence.
Redeeming Love, based on the best-selling novel by Francine Rivers.
That's Angel, finest girl west of the Rockies.
A life-changing story of the power of relentless love and perseverance. Redeeming Love shows there is no brokenness love can't heal.
That way is home. Your choice.
Redeeming Love. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters January 21st. Go to redeeminglovemovie.com.
Brand new from beloved author Ivan Quinones comes a new children's book, Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab. Available now in paperback or Kindle from the Amazon Marketplace. One satisfied parent said, "The story is quite intriguing. The way it develops leaves you waiting for the next adventure. Magnificent Ian is such a fun book. I would highly recommend it for children grades 2 through 5. Another said, "I barely got the book out of the package and my son immediately grabbed it and ran off to read it." In Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab, Ian finds a secret lab in the middle of an active volcanic island, run by a crazy scientist who tasks him with widening a secret tunnel. There's suspense, action, adventure, and a lesson about integrity. Available now on the Amazon Marketplace and the Amazon Kindle store. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab from author Ivan Quinones in paperback and Kindle form. Get your copy today. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab.
In these troubling times, civil unrest, spiking crime rates, and restrictive gun laws put us all at risk. One feels unsafe just walking down the sidewalk. So what if there was a form of personal protection that did not require waiting periods, permits, or background checks? Small enough to carry concealed in a purse or a jacket, but powerful enough to stop an assailant. Introducing the Byrna HD, the non-lethal self-protection device that buys you valuable time in an unsafe situation. With a 5-round magazine, the Byrna HD fires the Byrna Max payload, a 68 caliber projectile loaded with pepper and tear gas irritant, disabling an assailant from being able to breathe freely or see clearly for up to several minutes. The CO2-powered launcher is accurate up to 60 feet. It's about the size of a 9mm and has a dual-handed safety valve. Ideal for men and women and safe for everyone, it's backed by a 60-day risk-free guarantee.
Go to Byrna.com/KMC for all the latest discounts and specials. That's BYRNA.com.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore, and I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back, and it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and use discount code KMC.
Everybody loves my baby, but my baby don't like nobody but me. No one but me.
And now, back to Radio Night Live. Once again, Kevin McCullough.
I'm pretty sure that my bride and I both had the Alpha variant in February of 2020. We think that she probably also had a breakthrough case with her natural immunity, which is uncommon, but we think she had a breakthrough case with Omicron a couple of weeks ago. You know what I did, Dr. Howard? We didn't go see the doctor. We didn't go run down the hospital and get tested. What I did is I went and I said, okay, what works? The zinc works, vitamin C, vitamin D, get those in your system, boost the immunity, make sure you've got plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables and the other things that are pumping through that system. And she was back at it within 3 days. And, you know, even the average Omicron case is only lasting 5 to 7 days as opposed to 10 to 14.
Well, let me tell you. I'm in Germany, and I got the Omicron, and I had a headache, and I had but I felt it coming on when it was at the beginning stages. It's easier to put a spark out than it is a fire.
Yep.
When it was a spark, I jumped on it. I took huge amounts, and I'm just telling you what I did. It's not anything.
Bottles full.
I took huge amounts of fruits and vegetables from Balance of Nature, and the next morning I took huge amounts more. My headache lasted about 18 hours, and then I had a dull headache a little bit. I never really went into any full cough or anything. I had a little dry, scratchy throat for a couple of days, but nothing that I would say I was sick.
Right.
I would have gone to work. But we still showed positive for a little bit. But I didn't have anything more than it was less than 24 hours. It was over and done, because I jumped on it. I don't live in fear of this. I jumped right on it and did everything I could against it, and it was gone. Now,
well, and that's the thing that we need to be alerting people to, so that they are able to know that in 2022, friend, you're watching or listening, you're able to say, you know what, I don't have to wait. First of all, I don't have to wait to be a victim and wait till things go bad. Don't wait until you have the infection. Start boosting your immune system now. And Dr. Howard, I know that at the beginning of the year, it's a good time to remind people that there are some simple things that they can do to make that immune system a rugged soldier of the fight against everything that's going to try to put stress in you and tear you down this year.
Which is the most important thing you can do. We can talk about outside things all we want, but those things is build your immune system. And those are get out of stressful situations, get out of fear, get plenty of fresh air, have social activity. It's proven, these aren't just some little good ideas I have, but to stop sequestering yourself from social activity. Now that might be over the phone or something. I'm not telling you to go out there and spread. Even if it was a bad cold or of any kind of any year, I wouldn't, say go and cough on your grandma. But eat right. Now that comes down to several things. You have positive stresses and negative stresses on the body. You want to decrease the amount of negatives that you're putting in. Decrease the amount of alcohol, smoking, get out of those bad environments.
Even white sugars and unrefined flours and stuff like that.
Exactly. Start increasing your nutrition with good fresh fruits and vegetables and increasing the good stuff for you. Anyways, we can talk about all the chips and the bad stuff for you too, and the white flours and the white sugars. And so cut out the bad, bring in the good. And I teach this on an aspect.
And watch what happens. Literally watch the transformation take place.
Really quickly, it said you've got a physical side of health, a mental, spiritual side of health, and then you've got a chemical side of health. You have to work on all three sides as vigilantly and raise your own immune system, and you can do that.
And for people that have not started on Balance of Nature, Dr. Howard, and we only have a minute left, I've of course been on the product now. I think it's going on 7 years. I think 2022 will be my 7th year that I've been on it. And I used to struggle with bronchitis on almost as often as the weather would change kind of basis. I haven't struggled with that for a long time. I totally credit Balance of Nature for helping me get through the first alpha variant of COVID as quickly as I did, which was about 4.5 days compared to the 10 to 14 days that everybody else was struggling with it when. And I think because I was power pumping the immune system with all that good energy and nutrition that is in there. But for people that haven't started it, talk about how the system works and how simple it is to try it.
And just taking 3 fruit capsules and 3 vegetable capsules a day, it's amazing what you do. And it's easy to get it. And then it's easier to put a spark out than it is a fire. You're going to hear me say that over and over again. As soon as you feel something, as soon as you start to sneeze, double your dose. If it keeps coming at you harder, triple your dose. There is no negative side effects. There's no negative side effect of you can't overdose on fruits and vegetables. And that's what this is. It's a scientifically formulated of which fruits and vegetables to bring together, how to bring them together, and keep all of their nutrition so that it has the most effect on your body. And it's phenomenal.
It's so simple, friends.
I got to tell you this really quick. As we were sitting here, and you said that, I remembered your bronchitis and your pneumonias that you used to get back then and how I started working with you. But as we sat here, I wasn't even thinking of that. I thought, you look better today than you do 7 years ago. You do. Yeah. Your health is better today than it was. I feel better.
And I've had, a couple of challenges come along, but I credit 100% the energy that I feel, the ability to stay very, very active as a father of young kids in my early 50s. I credit all of it to what Balance of Nature has done. Friends, let me tell you real quick. If you call this number right now, you're going to get 35% off and free shipping on your first preferred order. And you will get a health coach assigned to you at absolutely no charge. And I find that the health coach is a valuable tool that will help encourage you and keep you on track throughout 2022. It's a great time to get started because that health coach can walk through this year with you as you are wanting to get yourself on a healthier path. But let me give you the number. It's 800-2468-751, 800-2468-751, 800-2468-751. Use my promo code KMC. You're going to get 35% off and free shipping when you do. But friends, don't delay. This will be one of the things that as you adopt it and make it part of your routine day to day, 3 capsules of veggies, 3 capsules of fruits, you're going to feel energy and have benefits to it you've never experienced before. 800-2468-751, 800-2468-751, and the promo code is KMC. Dr. Howard, it's been way too long since we've had a nice long visit with you. Thank you for being with us, and please come back soon.
Coming to theaters January 21st, Redeeming Love.
Let's hop on one of those ships and sail away.
Why don't you think about where we would go?
Far.
I was just thinking about my mother. Shattered.
You are not here.
What's your pleasure, mister?
The truth is, I didn't come here for that.
You have been broken, your innocence.
Redeeming Love, based on the best-selling novel by Francine Rivers.
That's Angel, finest girl west of the Rockies.
A life-changing story of the power of relentless love and perseverance. Redeeming Love shows there is no brokenness love can't heal.
That way is home. Your choice.
Redeeming Love. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. In theaters January 21st. Go to redeeminglovemovie.com.
Hi, Kevin McCullough. You've heard us talk about the amazing offer that MyPillow is offering you right now, right? Only $34.99 a pillow. That's the lowest price ever offered on radio TV. When you get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for only $69.98, ever since I've been sleeping on my MyPillow, I don't get interrupted sleep anymore. I don't have to worry about folding my pillow in half or stacking up a whole bunch of lifeless pillows underneath it to give me the right support. Comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty, and it's made in the USA. Do you have a pillow that comes with a 10-year warranty? Get a 2-pack of MyPillow Premiums for $69.98 right now. That's only $34.99 per pillow, which again is the lowest price ever offered on radio or TV. This offer is only available at MyPillow.com or when you call 800-506-2641. That's 800-506-2641. Promo code KMC. 800-506-2641. And use the promo code KMC.
Brand new from beloved author Ivan Quinones comes a new children's book, Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab. Available now in paperback or Kindle from the Amazon Marketplace. One satisfied parent said, "The story is quite intriguing. The way it develops leaves you waiting for the next adventure. Magnificent Ian is such a fun book. I would highly recommend it for children grades 2 through 5. Another said, "I barely got the book out of the package and my son immediately grabbed it and ran off to read it." In Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab, Ian finds a secret lab in the middle of an active volcanic island, run by a crazy scientist who tasks him with widening a secret tunnel. There's suspense, action, adventure, and a lesson about integrity. Available now on the Amazon Marketplace and the Amazon Kindle store. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab from author Ivan Quinones in paperback and Kindle form. Get your copy today. Magnificent Ian and the Secret Lab.
Once again, from New York, here's Radio Night Live and Kevin McCullough.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Radio Night Live. Much more to come in hour number 2. But first, the new music spotlight. Here are our friends Toby Mac and Sheryl Crowe.
Head down as I punch this clock. The hours roll, they never stop. And I can't ever seem to get ahead. Always trying to do what's right. Straight and narrow, skin tight. Don't know how much longer I can stand. And I'm wondering, yeah, I'm wondering, where's my promised land? Out here on this desert road, it's hot as fire, but I've grown cold. Circling like a plane that never lands. And even though the questions change, the answers always stay the same. Maybe someday I will understand. So I'm wondering, got me wondering, where's my promised land? Yeah, I'm wondering, still I'm wondering, where's my promised land? Well, I've run this earth for many years, and there's one thing I know. There's nowhere on this side of heaven the streets are made of gold. I lay down my bad illusions, looking toward the day that I'll be home. I won't give up on this race, broken but I still have faith that this whole life is all part of a plan. And I can feel it in my soul, the day I stand before the throne with nothing left but hope in these two hands. To all these seasons, I'm still believing you're my promised land. And all my grieving, I'm still believing you're my promised land.
In the ladies' lounge tonight.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I ended up getting a cold after Thanksgiving. And usually it always goes to my chest. Not even a usually, it just always goes to my chest. And I end up having to go to the doctor. This time I took 9 of the Balance of Nature for 2 days, and it totally cleared up. I was very impressed because every time I've gotten a cold for the past 5 years, it goes into my chest. And it didn't. It cleared up right away.
Don't wait to see what getting over 10 servings of whole fruits and vegetables every day can do for you. Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order of fruits and veggies. Start your journey to better health today by calling 1-800-2468-751 or by going to balanceofnature.com and make sure to receive this special radio offer by using discount code KMC.